أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم عليه رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب زدني علما رب زدني علما رب زدني علما. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. The topic for today which is being given to me is, what is the responsibility of a Muslim youth? The Muslim youth of today are living in the midst of mixed society, and there are so many responsibilities, whether it be at home or in the school or in the society. We first have to make the right decision, and that could be hard for someone who is not quite an adult. A Muslim youth, or a youth for that matter, is in mixed hands, and we have to think, do we follow what we see in the media, or do we follow what we get taught at home? Because even with the best of the best intentions, the people we trust, our teachers, could teach us something that contradicts with our Islamic norms. And I think in this day, many of the teens think of religion as something that stops you from doing things that you enjoy. They actually feel that, the religion stops them from living their life. So there are actually two ways of looking at this religion. The first way would be to say that it means that we do the bare minimum of stuff, and the youth, the Muslim youth, look at what is the worst things, and we say we won't do the really bad things. And in the first category, there are few others who say, I'm sure I'll get let for what has been done. The other point of view, or the other way of looking at this religion is to ask, what more can I do to this deen, to this ummah? I feel it's not only a responsibility but a must that we convey the message of Islam to people that are missing it, and I think we would all be better off if we were not as youth or as adults but as fellow Muslims. What least can I do is one way of looking at the religion, and this is actually a losing attitude of the people. It keeps them from living it up, and this is the losing attitude. What's the bare minimum that this religion wants me to do? And I'll do it, and I'll be free after that. This is how some of the youth actually look at the religion or look at Islam. Now, what would be the winning attitude? What more can I do? How can I serve the deen? How can I serve our ummah? If you look at the present scenario, the present youth, a lot of us are not proud of Islam, and most of us are seen whining about our identity. Let me ask, how many of us are comfortable in a non-Islamic country to wear the banner of Islam? In our workplace, how many of us are happy to practice our sunnahs? This is the losing attitude. The winning attitude would be, I have my identity, the banner already. Feel comfortable to be the flag bearer. You be the first one to inspire others. Ultimately, you will see that knowingly or unknowingly, there are a lot of others who will follow you to feel happy about their Islamic identity. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Innama amaltu bin niyat." Actions are only according to your intention. When you are doing so, bear the intention or the niyyah that you are doing this because you want to please your Creator, not His creation. The important responsibility of the Muslim youth is to have a right knowledge of the deen. And the youthhood is the time when the youth want to be left free. They don't want to have the knowledge of deen. They don't want to go into the depths of the information. They feel it's a burden to practice the sunnahs or follow the sunnahs. But have we ever thought that this religion was accepted by so many sahabas of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a time when there were trials and hardships for anyone who accepted Islam? We, the Ummah of today, have been given this gift without any such conditions. The people of the cave They had accepted the religion without any conditions, in spite of all the hardships and their trials. There is a huge population of the world Allah has decided not to give this gift, and we should be happy that we are one of those blessed ones who have been given this gift of this deen, this gift of Islam. They did not get what we have got. The Sahabas of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's time were young. When they went through so much for this deen, the sacrifice each one of them made reveals the love and loyalty they had for the Prophet. They also serve as a role model for all the Muslim youth to emulate. They did not have the sophistication that we have these days. We have so many gadgets. We have Androids, we have the tabs, iPads, laptops, you name it. There are like many more. There are so many technologies, but how are we using it? The world has literally become small in this age of technology. Are we utilizing it in the best manner possible? The youth, the Muslim youth especially, the youth of today are seen using a lot of Android applications like WhatsApp, Facebooks, and so on. There are like umpteen number of applications which you can name. But how are we using it? Are we using it in the right direction? What is our niyyah behind such applications? Do the parents have a watch on how they are using it? It is the responsibility of the parents to see what applications they are using and the intention of using them, how they are using it. Are we just using it for mere gossiping or entertainment? Or are we spreading the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do we even find or take time among our worldly pleasures? This is something which the youth of today have to think. This is something which has to be pondered upon. When you talk about the youthhood is the most vigorous and dynamic stage in anybody's life. These are the best years of your life that you can serve. These are the best years of your life that you can serve Islam in the best part of your life. We can do the best service to this deen, to this ummah. But are we using it? Are the youth aware of what they are doing now? This is the time when you can decide what direction you are going to take for the rest of your life. The youth may be the teens of the college or the teens of the high school. This is the time when they have to decide what direction they are going to take for the rest of their life. It is not just about the profession, what they are going to choose, but it would be what you would be after this life. And in this scenario, your companions make a very big difference. Make sure you have a circle of friends who are Muslims. Even if you're just 2 or 3 in a whole lot of 30 in your class or in your workplace, in your youthhood, this makes a difference. You be the one to initiate it. You be the one to initiate or establish salah. Ultimately, you will have people following you. When you examine why some youth deviate, a simple but terrifying fact, which is most of the time, the cause is the influence of the friends that surround them. The task of choosing the right friends and companions is essential to preserving our identity. Befriending righteous and virtuous Muslims is one of the prerequisites for staying on the straight path and pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was narrated by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The example of a good companion in comparison with a bad one is like that of a musk seller and the blacksmith's bellows. From the first, you would either buy musk or enjoy its good smell, while the bellows would either burn your clothes or you get a bad, nasty smell thereof. This is a hadith from Bukhari. The Prophet ﷺ said, a person follows the deen, the way of life of his close friend. Therefore, let each of you look carefully at whom he chooses for friends. So this actually proves that friends play an important role in molding the character of a person, because you follow what your friend does most of the time. Choose a career which you like and which you are good at. This is also an important responsibility of Muslim youth. Choose a career in your life which makes your life not a career. Otherwise, you will see that your work is consuming you. Most of the times, you will see that people who work all the time, all they can do is only talk about work. You deviate them from work, you ask them to talk on something else, they will not be able to do it, because work is all they think about, and they don't have time for being. They don't have time for their family or anything else apart from their career. So when you make a decision about your career, be wise. Choose a career which will leave you some time for your life, for your family, and for your deen. Don't lose who you were. Don't lose your identity which you had during your youth. Because one fine day when your kids grow up, your kids will choose you to be their role model, and if they don't see you doing anything else for your deen at this time, when you are in your youth, they will follow your footsteps when it's their time. Now, talking about the career, how many of us in our youth have appreciated our hard-earned money? Have you even concerned about spending so much before we started working? Today's youth, be it a Muslim or a non-Muslim, they do not understand its value, because most of the parents, think that giving pocket money to a child is like a luxury. They want their children to live in luxury. This is all they feel about their kids. They don't want to make them understand what's the hardship of life, what's the value of money, and how it is being earned, spending each and every time away from the family, away from deen. All we spend is only the time we spend is only for the dunya, and that's how we earn the money in these days. That's how most of the children today are brought up. Make the young generation of today's youth understand their responsibility. Allow them to work, not for money, but at least to understand the responsibility. Once they are left with their hard-earned money, they will realize its worth, and they will know how not to spend this money on futile things. Because if it's their hard-earned money, they will know, how much of effort they have put into get this reward, get this money, this pay. But if it actually comes from their father's pocket, most of them don't realize the value of it. At the same time, it is our duty, the duty of the parents, to educate them. Educate the youth with good values. The Muslims shouldn't have love for dunya, but we should be the highest paid people in the society if you look at it. Why do I say this? Because if a Muslim youth or if a Muslim earns a lot, he can pool that money for Islamic services, for the purpose of deen, for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our goal in life should not be the money, but it is the income which we are generating for a higher reason. So when you choose a career, be wise, choose a career which will not consume you into your work, but at the same time, you will have an intention that you will pool your resource, your hard-earned money into an Islamic cause. This is actually one of the best responsibilities which a youth can have at this time. The young members of this ummah, your conscience should tell you that you don't have the leisure hours. Have you been a good influence for the misguided ummah? Have you ever been have you had a time, or have you had a chance to be an example for some of the misguided ummah? Have you anytime constantly worked to make the society better? You don't have time for free hours. Remember that. As a youth, you do not have time for free hours. You do not have time to play your video games, or you do not have time to play with your Android. This is not the time for you to waste. This is the time for you to be an active people. The Muslim youth of today, this is the time to be an active people. You have to reach the people who have been misguided. You have to be an example. Bring all the misguided people to the right path. Be a good influence for them. How do you do it? Is it just by handing over pamphlets or sending emails which have been forwarded? Does that mean a dawah? No. You do it yourself first. You follow the sunnah, you practice them. You be a role model. You should look like an example which the other non-Muslim or the other misguided youth finds it, saying that, yes, I want to be like this person. I want to be a Muslim. Inshallah. So when you are doing something, make sure you follow the sunnah. How do you do it? How do you clear your habits? Set your goals. Worship is the first goal. So be steadfast in your prayers. When I say steadfast in your prayers, it's not about just praying Zohar, Asr and Maghrib, but make sure you're steadfast in your Fajr and Isha prayers. At least have the niyyah. Go to bed early and make sure you wake up for your Fajr. And start to practice praying Tahajjud. And for all this, you have to make sure that you go to bed early. You don't waste your time after Isha, as how the Prophet ﷺ has said. He does not feel good about a person who stays up after Isha. He dislikes a person staying up after Isha on any unwanted worldly pleasure. So make sure you don't waste your time after Isha. Just do what is required and go to bed early, so that you wake up early in the morning for Tahajjud and you pray Fajr. And this way you will finally see that your day goes smooth. You're active, you're fresh, your mind is refreshed, you feel you're close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your creator. What more do you need? Your second goal is to read the Quran, gain your knowledge, improve your ilm. Rabbi zidni ilma. Oh Lord, increase me in my knowledge. So recite the Quran in the morning, even if it's just a single ayah a day. Recite it with its translation and try to put it into practice. Gradually you will see there is a lot of difference in your mannerisms, your behavior, your character. Try to keep away from lies. Again, I would say follow the sunnahs. So reading the Quran is one important thing. Make sure your Quran does not become just a showpiece on your cupboard or on the table. You read it every day. Start with a single ayah a day after the Fajr prayer, and you will see gradually you will be into it, and you will have a time when you will not feel good without reading your Quran for the day. So this is one important aspect which you have to set as your goal. And the third thing would be to read the surah of our Prophet ﷺ. Gradually, you will understand how much he had gone through, how much the Sahabas have gone through to gain this knowledge. What we're getting free of cost with no pains, they have got it after crossing all the hardships. They have gone through all the trials, all the pain, all the troubles to get this deen. But how are we using it? How did we get it? Did we go through any of those troubles which they went through? No, definitely not. We have just got it straight from word of mouth. So read the surah or read the seerah of the Prophet. This will open your vision towards the sunnah. Whilst we are young, we have the potential to follow Islam by advancing our understanding and carrying Islam to others. So this is the right time. Every minute that you have wasted, you will be accounted for. Your youth is the best part of your life when you can serve your deen, your ummah, your creator. once you enter into your work life, you will not have time, or you will just gradually get deviated, and at that time you will not find your leisure hours to read the seerah or to read the sunnahs. But this time when you are free, you don't have worries of the world, you have so much of time left in your hand to correct the misguided ummah, to correct yourself first, to be a flag bearer of Islam. Utilize it. Youth doesn't last forever, so we must make good use of it before it is gone. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rightly says that He does not leave anything with a person for a long time. He gives it to a person to see how he uses it. Similarly, youth is the time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives it to us. He will watch as to how we are utilizing it. Are we utilizing it in the right manner, or are we just amusing ourselves, entertaining ourselves, making use of all the free time? I come back from work, or I come back from college or from school. How do I spend my time the rest of the day? You're studying, you're going for your classes, your play, everything. That's fine. But apart from them, spend some time for your deen, for your creator. Read the Quran. Establish your salahs on time. Be steadfast in your prayer. And this is more important than the others. Once you follow, you will automatically be a very good role model for the others, for the other youth of the same age, or the other non-Muslim youth who are held up in all worldly pleasures. When they see you doing it, when they see that a youth of their similar age is doing something which they did not imagine, they are under control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will have the urge to follow you. They will have the urge to follow your deen. And they will have the urge to ask you questions about your deen's knowledge. So be prepared with your knowledge first. Great Muslim youth of the past who are luminaries of humanity, we have to ensure that we follow the footsteps of those great Muslim youth, those great Sahabas who have been the luminaries of humanity. Let's remember the words of Prophet ﷺ, who said, value 5 things before 5 other things. The first one is youth before old age. So as I said, youth is the right time. You cannot try doing so many things when you are old. And when your health, when you have a good health, you can do what you can, which you cannot do when you have a sickness. So value your health before your sickness. Value your affluence before your poverty. Make use of money in the right direction. Make use of your hard-earned money in the right direction. If you're earning quite well, make sure you do something for the ummah. Make sure you pour some money into Islamic services. Make sure you do not waste your leisure time. Value your leisure time before becoming too busy. And this is the right time for you. The youthhood is the right time for you to make use of your leisure time. Once you enter into your job, or once you enter into all the responsibilities of life, the serious responsibilities of life, this will take you back. You will find that you have no time left for your deen. So make use of this time so that this will become your habit. And even when you become a responsible person, when you have the responsibilities of your family, your work, make sure that you don't lose your sight of what you have been doing. And you have to value your life before your death. So value all these as a youth. When you have money, when you have time, when you have your age to do things, when you have a lot of things to run around, how can you utilize your youth? As I said, not just by issuing pamphlets or sending emails or forwarding messages. No. You be a role model. May Allah make us all role models that the non-Muslims see us and say, I want to be a Muslim. May Allah make all of us the good examples of Islam, so that when the non-Muslim youth see you, they should say they want to be a Muslim. Your honesty, your character, it should drag them towards becoming a Muslim. Because when people look at you, they look at you as a Muslim, not as a youth. They look at you as Islam itself. When you do a mistake, they don't say that this person has done a mistake. They will only look at as this person who is a Muslim has done this mistake. So this is what Islam has taught them. This is how they look at you. So make sure your actions, your intentions are clean. What you do would be an example for the others. You will become a role model. You will inspire them. You will influence them. So you will be questionable. You are answerable for your actions. So make sure you do the right thing and you make the others follow you just by your intentions. You be a walking example. Follow the sunnahs of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You should be the dawat of Islam without opening your mouth. There will be a time when Allah will ask you on the day of judgment. Subhanallah. The responsibility rests on our shoulder. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us the ability to carry that responsibility and become responsible members of this beautiful ummah. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Jazakallah khairan. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Iyyakum, brother.